غرباء غرباء غرباء. Islamic culture meaning Allah told us to do it or Prophet Muhammad. Hassan, what is different between Islamic culture and Arab culture?
Can we go to a bit of culture? Culture is where your society.
Can I ask you that? What is different?
No, culture is where your society.
Hear me out. He was the one who said it. He was the one who
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. What are you gonna do? 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 Exactly. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I said to the old start shouting and you won't be able to record shit. Do it. That you want to roll it? That you want to roll it?
Hassan, can you just calm down, bro?
Bro, mama, you want to talk to your little... Hey, brother, we can't do that. Bro, did you hear how we talk to me? Right, so what?
Apologise for that, man. You can't talk to that.
Bro, man talks to me like that, I'll talk to him. When man talks to me like that, I'll talk to him like that. Hold on. Unless I'm talking who are responsible. I want to stand here, man. Why are you pushing me out of the way, bro?
I want to ask you to move so I can come.
Bro, how do you notice? If I want to stand here, that's why I want to stand here. If you want to stand there, don't look.
It's funny.
I decided when I was away for 2 weeks that when it comes to grooming, I would only talk to certain people like yourself maybe. And other people, when they've come up to me, I said I don't want to talk about it. And I said it to yourself, didn't I? No offense. So as long as I can have a productive conversation, I will have a conversation about it. Now I do need to say one thing before we start though. I have to preface it. I have two problems here. One of them is grooming, and when I see that, I'm very hard in my thought process, yeah, because it's very personal. When it comes to Muslims and Islam, yeah, and terrorism, I'm flexible. As you know, when you told me about Salafi Islam, I'm flexible. But when it comes to the grooming, I'm very, very tough in my stance. And so when you hear me sometimes talking about grooming, because it's so personal, I do have a bee in my bonnet about it, and I'm not going to lie about that.
Okay. Now you said, I was asking, what's the difference between Arab culture and Islamic culture? If Islam, it was just an Arab culture, the Arab pagans would not reject it. They would say, yeah, it's our culture. But the fact that when we read the Quran, the Arab pagans reject Islam because they say Islam is not the way of our forefathers. Okay? So now when we say it's Islamic culture, it doesn't make any sense.
But can you explain what is Arab culture though?
There's different types of Arab culture. For example, Arab culture is to marry 10 women. Their culture is to marry 10 women.
Before Islam came along.
The pre-Islamic days, which called Yam al-Jahiliyyah, days of ignorance. Pre-Islamic days, that's their culture. Okay? So to say Islamic culture doesn't make any sense. Why? Because Islamic culture means it's been based on the Quran and the Sunnah. Because you use Islam. Islam is not Pakistani. Islam is not Algerian. Islam, which Prophet Muhammad came with. Like people now, even they take a mic, they say halal chips. It's all about halal chips. Islamic chips. Islamic chips. Why? What is it? So when you say Islamic culture, the grooming gangs, yeah, in Islam, do you know what is their punishment? Maybe you disagree with it, but this is their punishment. We don't put them in hotels, 5-star hotels. We don't do that. Okay? Why? Because these people are considered to be المفسدون في الأرض, those who cause corruption on the earth. And the only way to stop their corruption and their evil is by what? Take them to court. Of course, you have to take them to court, and it's a capital punishment. Why?
But before we go on, have you? Whenever I talk about grooming, I always say, and you can watch all the videos, if Muslims were like yourself and your crew, you would not be grooming. Yeah? So if you're true Muslims, you would not be grooming.
That is disobedient Muslims.
The evil
Muslims. All right. They're disobedient Muslims, yeah, but we cannot take the fact out that Islam does influence culture to a certain degree.
No, but no, wait. Like, how? Explain.
All right, the thing is
about grooming.
Explain what you mean.
About grooming gangs.
All right, I'm gonna have to speak for 5 minutes here. So
5 minutes.
Sorry, so it's gonna take that long here. I don't think you're Moroccan.
Have you seen this book?
No.
Take it.
No, I'm gonna quote from it, then I'll give it to you.
Yeah. But
this book which exposes that if grooming gangs was from Islamic culture, how come 70% white people do grooming gangs as well? So Islam is telling them to do it.
All right.
Give the title.
Yeah. So
The book. Yeah.
So
Customs of marriage history and the modern day.
So before I go on, I've said it numerous times. If you're a devout Muslim, you're not going to be going around drinking and grooming. And I've said that every single time. That is different from what Tommy Robinson says, and I don't agree with Tommy Robinson's stance. He does say he's a Muslim, kind of like, Islamic thing. I've never said it's an Islamic thing, like to do with a religion as a core. I say there's a culture of, you're from Morocco? Or?
I have Moroccan.
Yeah, so
Algerian as well.
you're from you don't
I'm
understand the Asian culture of the Asian subcontinent. And it includes my culture as well. So I'll explain. I believe there's 3 mixes here that has made this grooming epidemic become what it is. And it's not Islam. So what I say is that you need to let me just finish it because it's going to have to go in one continuous thingy. I say it's like it's a mix of 3 separate entities. So first of all, you have the South Asian, yeah, which includes me, includes Hindus, includes people from Afghanistan, all the way over the Indian subcontinent, where we have this real honor-based culture, where, you know, in Sikhs and Muslims and Hindus families, if someone's abused, they don't go to the police. What they will do is hide it and try and deal with it themselves. If something happens to save shame on the family, they will not go to the police or report things. And that becomes problematic when something happens like a rape or something happens like somebody in your family is doing something, yeah? So we have this honor culture about the women, yeah? If they kind of like, you know, found out to be prostituted, instead of dealing with the situation and say go to the police, they will try and deal with it themselves or just send the girl up to a different area. Do you understand? So you're making a problem grow if you don't go to the police.
That's true.
Yeah, so that is a problem for the South Asian people's community. This is why you don't really see too many people that are coming from, say, you know, the African subcontinent or maybe Moroccan stuff, yeah? But you do.
The reason I came here for the Islamic culture thing.
Yeah.
So
and then you have the second mix, which I would say is Islamic culture. Now you need to listen to this.
No, before I listen, define what is Islamic culture.
No, but I need to explain something.
You can use the terminology without
but it's a terminology that I have labelled. It may not be right. It may not be right. It may not be right. But I've labelled it. So let me ask you a question first. Can something good come from something bad?
Can something good
come from something bad?
Like, for example, what?
So let's give
you can have like a someone who's an evil person and you can
no. Hold on. So I'm gonna give the example. I know everybody not start interrupting because I know this is gonna trigger people. When you look at a Catholic priest, he is told to be celibate. Being celibate and controlling your urges in itself is a good thing. Yeah, is it not?
No, it's not.
For Catholics here, it's a good thing, but it has a bad consequence because men's urges are not built like that.
You ask us it's good. You ask yourself.
Hold on.
You say it's good. We don't agree.
No, you don't agree, but that's
because we know you should get married.
All right. So you don't agree that, but this is my own what I call kind of like.
That is a wrong analogy.
Oh no. But the thing is that, all right. So I'm gonna use, but that's the best one I can think of.
To understand.
So basically, what I'm saying is that in Islamic culture, which is not prevalent in Sikh culture, you have a big separation between men and women, yeah? That in itself can be good, but it can also have a negative consequence because you cannot see women, like when I go to a Sikh temple, hold on. So in its essence, it's a good thing, yeah? But when you're separating men and women, yeah, in a Western world, it can become problematic. Now let me tell you why.
That's the same in the Jewish.
Hold on. In the Jewish, but the thing is that, so I'll give you an example.
Grooming Gang say they mix
hold on. When I go to the Sikh temple, hold on. When I go to the Sikh temple,
the ones that don't mix, they don't stay away from it.
When you go to the Sikh temple, the men and women
you need to let me finish my thing.
No. So basically, in the Sikh temple, men and women mix together.
So there's a healthy.
But Islamically, you don't mix with men and women. Yeah. So basically, you have to lower your gaze. So that basically your urges build up.
Yeah.
You want to go.
He said it. Hold on. Bro, let me say something. Yeah. Now you will have brothers like these guys that are level-headed, are not extreme, they can control their urges, but you can have some little guys that are horny little guys that cannot control their urges, yeah? And I'm just saying, when they're 16, yeah, what happens is that because they haven't got what I call a healthy look at sexuality, they can become deviant, yeah, in that sense. Now, do I think that the Islamic view on traditional values is wrong? No. Do I think the view on the Islamic traditional values is wrong? No. I believe women dressing modestly is good. Do not drink, do not have the intoxicants. I don't agree with any of that stuff. I don't agree with extramarital marriage. I don't even agree with homosexuality. So I agree with traditional values, but what happens when you have...
Next week you don't see me.
When you, I've said it all the time. So when you have, yeah, some weak-minded individuals, yeah, up north, whatever you want to call it, and they are then put into the West, and when they see these girls dressing in a particular way, they're drinking and they're doing this, maybe they just cannot control their urges. You can, because
so now I just spoke, yeah?
So that's the third part, the Western aspect.
I want to mention something, yeah? My point here, I came to you, because you said Islamic culture. You cannot make up a definition which doesn't make any sense. You cannot come to me and say this Islamic camera. I'm going to tell you what do you mean by Islamic camera? Islam, when you say something Islamically, it has to be based upon the Quran, prophetic tradition, and the companions. There's no something called Islamic culture. There's something called Pakistani culture, Indian culture, Algerian culture, but don't mix between the two. Because, and now you said one point which you have mentioned. You said that Islam, because we don't free mix with a woman.
Not just that, there's a lot of unhealthy...
I understand, hear me out. You said that something is good. However, the outcome for it, they have the urge. So they go what to do?
To some men.
So according to your logic, the reason the white people are sleeping with the little children because they don't stay with the children.
No, this is a separate
Also, I want to say
topic.
the one thing about
Okay, so
This is a separate topic.
Okay.
I wouldn't...
I can't
he's talking
speak
about the girls, groomed, right? He's talking about vulnerability.
Well, what I'm saying...
Okay,
can I say something?
you
Grooming
can't
is not
have
about
free.
paedophilia.
So there are free people. I can't speak.
No, we need to clarify
but
something.
let me finish one point. I will finish my point. My point, your logic, I have to use the logic, yeah? One of the reasons you mentioned, that, let me clarify something, there's no Islamic culture. First, there is some Islamic culture, but grooming gang is not Islamic culture, it's a satanic culture. That's what is the word. That's why the punishment for the capital punishment. That's what you should call it. No Islamic culture. Islam is free from that satanic culture. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing, his logic, because men and women don't mix. So that, don't free mix, yeah? Don't free mix. The outcome for that what? They have the urge. So they want to exercise the urge, yeah? But hold a minute. We have here, which is a fact check, that there's a few types of grooming gangs. One of them is pedophilia, okay? And they say the pedophilic rings, yeah, or pedophilia is taking a place. 100% are white people.
Do we know that?
No. My question to you, according to your logic, is it because they don't have children? That's why they go sleep with the children. Because you said because we don't mix. Therefore, you go to women do that. No, it has nothing to do with that. Rather, Islam teach you, if I'm not allowed to free mix with a woman, let alone sleeping with a woman, that will what prevents you more to not do it. However, Islam give you choice. Go get married. The Messenger of Allah said, "Ya ma'shar al-shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj." Or group of youth, whoever is able to get married, get married. Okay, get married. That's the solution. But here in this country, to do fornication is so easy. But not in this country. I mean, let us be realistic. In many countries now, to get married, very hard. So that's a problem, I believe.
Yeah, all right.
They're making it hard for people to get married.
So we can say that in terms of Islamic culture, getting married is a good thing early because it stops, it stops men from acting out maybe kind of like the carnal wishes. But if in a country you're not allowed to do it, like in the UK, you can't.
You're not allowed to get married.
You can get married, but it's very hard to get married when you're 16, 17.
Easy.
You can, but most families do not want it to happen. But most families would not want their kids to get married so young. Yeah, because of the culture. Now, one thing I need to say to you, Shamsi,
which culture? Islamic culture.
I know. This is why. That's why I said this. That's why I said there's free mixes. I said the one is Asian culture. There's kind of what I call Islamic culture, and then there's hold on, but you need to. And then there's Western culture.
I've heard you. Look.
So there's
I'm sorry, brother. I already explained to you. It's called satanic culture, not Islamic culture. Grooming gangs has nothing to do with Islam. Rather, doesn't make any sense. It's Islamic culture, but in Islam, if you do grooming gangs, you have a capital punishment. So Allah tell you do it to kill you.
Yeah, but you're taking it by your definition. My definition is that
you cannot come to our religion.
I'm saying that you, like I said before, that if you have a group of people that are separated so much between men and women, yeah, it can become unhealthy to a certain degree.
Wait, let me just say this.
I'm saying it can become unhealthy.
But here they're not.
When you're telling a young guy you can't look at a woman in the eyes, you can't touch their arms, you can't. No, but I'm saying some people do. Yeah. You may be strong enough mentally to cope with that, but there are very weak-minded people.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't want to make an offense to anyone. But the same culture you're talking about, the separation of men and women, applies in Judaism as well.
Yeah, no, I disagree with them as well, but they haven't got a grooming situation.
Every issue, right, the Western world has within Islam originates and stems
What?
and come
No,
to
no,
Judaism.
Jews
Hold on, Jews are not grooming Sikh girls.
He doesn't
Sorry,
care.
but Jews are not grooming Sikh girls.
No, so if they're grooming,
Okay.
okay, if they're grooming other girls, it's okay.
But I'm saying, Hold on. I've not heard any mass cases.
No, you said because they're not grooming
But
Sikh
I'm
girls.
saying that
So you
I've not
only
heard
care about
of-
your people.
What I'm saying, everybody has an in-group preference.
No.
Everybody
as
needs-
a Muslim,
as-
even if they're not grooming Algerian girls, they're still evil people.
What I'm
and
saying
should
to you,
expose
you
them.
need-
on behalf of
you
me
need
and
to show-
Shamsi
you need
and
to
any-
show me the
any
cases.
level-headed Muslim person here.
Yes.
Okay,
But
if
you
we
need to
know
show me the
any Muslim
cases.
grooming
You
gang,
need to show.
Brother, I want to summarize it here because I have to go. My point here, look, listen carefully, yeah? And now let us make it clear. There's grooming gangs, and alhamdulillah, Jedi spoke to you. And he made sense what he told you.
Who?
Jedi spoke to you, a live stream. The brother sent it to me, I've heard it.
We had a good conversation. I don't agree
didn't
with
say
everything
that,
you said.
but he said something good, which you said to him is Islamic culture, and you mentioned some brothers, and he said if it's Islamic culture, why these brothers are not doing it? Therefore, it's not Islamic culture. So
Alright.
there's one thing. The other thing you keep talking about, because we don't free mix Islam. The people are doing it in this
I
country.
didn't just say that.
They're free mix.
I
free mix
gave
in
you a
Islam-
more holistic viewpoint.
No.
I said you.
Raj, let me finish my point, please. Raj, let us, brother,
in
please,
Judaism, man.
let us understand the reasons.
But we're the Jewish grooming gang.
Brothers, that's not a good point.
Show me the convictions.
we don't know what's happening within
I know,
the
but until the convictions
They
come, I
don't-
can't condemn
they
them.
don't
I want to
integrate.
finish my point,
They don't
brother.
integrate.
I know, but
Brother,
you need to show me convictions.
Brother, he doesn't care about it because why? Basically, he's gonna tell you, okay, if the Jews are doing it, so what's that mean? Is it okay? He can
No,
say
no,
that.
no. You can't put
Forget
that in my
about-
mind, though.
No,
You
but
can't- you can't put that in my mouth,
I'm
Shamsi.
not saying. I'm saying it's no good
No,
argument.
I
because Jews
care.
doing
Hold
it.
on, I care about everybody, yeah. But the problem is,
let me finish
until
my-
I can see statistics of Jews, yeah, going around grooming Sikh girls or other girls, I cannot condemn them for a crime they haven't
I'm
committed.
not saying I'm not putting them back.
I'm gonna go.
There's no.
So,
Come on,
I want to finish my point.
Yeah, go.
You can go speak to all your life. My point is, you mentioned the reasons. Let us deal with the reasons. One of the reasons because in Islam we don't free mix, but the people are doing grooming gangs. They free mix in this country. So that reason is invalid. The second reason you say Islamic culture. I told you that it's a satanic culture, has nothing to do with Islam. Okay, so understand that. The other thing you saying that are Muslims. If it's a Muslim Islamic culture, how come only Asians are doing it? Do you know if Islam is only in Asia?
Because
Islam,
I've given you free. I've given you free components.
Wait.
The South Asian culture.
Raj, let me
Hold on,
finish.
I've not just said Islamic
Raj,
culture,
I
I've
haven't
given all
finished.
free.
I haven't finished. But
I need to answer your question.
Raj, how come Africans are not, brother, how come Africans are not doing it? How
I've just
come
explained that.
No, but
I said the first thing is Asian culture.
Are you missing my point, Raj? If it's Islamic culture, therefore the whole Muslim Ummah should be doing it. That doesn't make sense. Simple as that. Full stop.
Hold on. So before you go,
Raj, I have to go.
Before you go, go. 1 minute.
No, I have to go.
Don't go.
No, I have to go.
Game, grab your brother.
No.
Grab him in it. I don't want to grab Shamsi like that.